Greetings, families. Welcome back. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. This video is about the Senegal president, Diomaye Faye. Yesterday was 80 years since something happened in Senegal. I have no idea, but I saw an interview about 2 or 3 days ago. When I listened to it, he was saying that, have you seen a Senegal or Africa military in France or any Western country with their uniform or their camp, which is a question we all ask most of the time. Why are military bases in Africa and African militaries are not in the Western countries? Yes, so he said a lot of things, and then he said that he has received a letter a day before the France president apologizing for the massacre that they've committed in Senegal. Yes, still, I didn't understand. He called me naive. I didn't know that history much. I knew that France and other colonizers has nasty histories, but I didn't know about this particular one. Please listen to this interview and I'll be back. Thank you for your time.
Before, French officers gave the order to open fire on Senegalese tirailleurs. It happened at the Thierry camp, not far from here. Dozens died. Are you expecting an official apology from France, which has never really acknowledged its responsibility in this tragedy? Naturally, we're not there yet. To the apology exercise, but I must reveal that I received a letter today from President Macron, in which he acknowledges that it was indeed a massacre. Acknowledging that it was a massacre should open the door to full cooperation in uncovering the whole truth about this painful Chow event. Do you think that 80 years later, France is still deliberately hiding part of the truth? Obviously, something has been hidden. There has been a constant attempt to cover up the truth. France's commitment will be total, march and collaborative. And that it will also be 1/3 in this collaboration for us, as long as the truth is not completely made. The circumstances of this massacre on the effective count of the victims will be a gaping wound in our common conscience, because it is unfortunately a history that we share with France, with the massacres of one on a side, it is massacred on another side. And what's in your approach, the will too? To settle scores with France. I have no quarrel with France. I believe it is we who should have commemorated this event in Africa a long time ago. It's an important event in the history of the African people. What happened? Here were men who were quietly here. There were wars on the other side, and they were taken by force or by degree, and made to fight in extremely difficult conditions. And the recognition has not come for 80 years. They were repatriated here, and when it came time for them to ask for money to go home to their families, they received bullets in return. They received bullets in return, that's what happened. There's no score to settle. It's up to Africans to assume their share of history and impose it on everyone else. You'll be calling for reparations for the descendants of those riflemen who died in Thailand. These riflemen were asking for their rightful pay after the war. Instead of nest eggs, they received bullets. There is still a French military presence in Senegal today, some 350 soldiers, men and women based in several camps right here in Dakar. Are you in favor of this French military presence in your country? Because, as a Frenchman, you'd like to see us in your country with tanks or military vehicles, Senegalese soldiers in Senegalese uniforms. Because historically, France has enslaved, colonized, and remained. Obviously, I think that when you reverse the roles a little, you won't mind if another army, China, Russia, Senegal, or any other country, has a military base in France. So the French soldiers have to go. There's no deadline for this yet, and if it has to be done, it will be. Said to French authorities. Who will be the first to know? Generally speaking, what is the state of relations between France and Senegal today? You've spoken several times of the need for a new impetus. But we get the impression that there's a lot of mistrust, even if France remains a privileged partner. As I said, nothing has changed since I took over this report, because Senegal has always been an open country. We have also become more aggressive in winning new partnerships and diversifying these partnerships. We're opening up to Asia, we're opening up to the Middle East, we're opening up to the countries of the South, and we're opening up even more to the Western countries with which, generally speaking, we have privileged relations. Obviously, France must understand that the environment has become much more competitive than in the past. We have to offer more and offer better, in order to stand out in the context of calls for tender that are very open and in which, for us, competition means looking for the best. Partnership for Senegalese people.
Thank you, families, for your time, for listening to that interview. That means that, yes, they are getting rid of the France military base, but they haven't set time yet. That is also doing, they are getting rid of them. And then maybe if they will come, it will be on their terms and not the other one. I'll bring another video on the 80th anniversary of the massacre committed in Senegal, that the interviewer was asking the questions. I must admit that the interviewer was so good. The questions that all of us has been asking ourselves for some time now is what he was asking. So congratulations to him and the channel that showcase this interview. I'll be back with the 18 minutes speech that he gave at the anniversary. That was yesterday. Thank you, families. Thank you so much for your time. If this is your first time, my name is Mamri and you are very welcome. Like the video, share it, leave comment. What do you think? Because when he became a president, we saw him going in and out. And we were thinking, will he do it? Will he not do it? Which side is he? And now he's telling us his side. So we wait and see what will happen. But as I said, I'll bring the other video. So those of us who do not know that history will learn from it as well, because I didn't know how deep that was. So I'll be back with that. Thank you for your time.